Hello again. In this lesson, I will convert images into lines by tracing in AutoCAD to use them as a reference in Revit. So, to trace the image that I arranged in the previous lesson, let's launch AutoCAD and start our work. I am doing the letter tracing for the sake of time in the tutorial, and of course I also couldn't find the Art Deco letters in my phone directory, but if you can find the letters easily, there is no need to trace yours. You can simply adapt the skills from this lesson to trace any type of drawing in your project. Okay, now AutoCAD is open, and every time you open AutoCAD, this is the interface that welcomes you. From here, either you can open existing drawings or start a new one, and you do have a variety of options to do that. First is by going to the application menu, and from here you can open a new project or open existing. Second is you can open files from here. Also, you do have an ability to open recent drawings. This is very helpful because usually one project takes a longer time. In order to keep the working drawings above everything, you can pin it using this pin icon. The final and the easy way to open a new drawing is using this plus icon in here. Click on it to start our drawing. To import the image that I need to trace, let's go to Insert and click Attach. And this will launch File Browser dialog box, and in here you specify your image location in your hard drive. For me it's found in the project files folder in my desktop, so go to second lesson folder and choose one image from there and click Open. This in turn launch Attach Image dialog box. If the image that you choose is not the right one, you can again browse using the browse icon to the right and locate the right image. The Attach Image dialog box has 5 sections. You have the Preview section. This displays the preview of the selected image. The path type is important if you use different computers at different time. The Scale section is to specify the exact scale that you are using, in which case it's not important for me now, because I can make it any size once I finish tracing. You can specify the insertion point of the image in here by giving the X, Y, and Z values. And this section enables you to jump to rotation command after replacement. You can try that if you want, but I will skip now. If you are sure about the angle of rotation, you can insert the exact angle. Since ours is fixed in Photoshop, there is no need to tweak that. Well, this is my image I want to trace, so let's click OK. As soon as you place the image, AutoCAD will take you to the image editing mode. If you are not in this mode, you can select the image to come there. And this mode has 3 panels. You can adjust the image brightness, contrast, and fade in the Adjust panel. You are also able to create the clipping boundary or remove it from the clipping panel. You have also an option to show or hide your image or to make the background transparent. If your image of course supports this and have transparency, like PNG file formats, in this case this is not applicable. But before I start tracing, I need to tweak some settings in AutoCAD that allow me to work more effectively of course, and to make life easier. Go to Application menu, big A in here, and click Options. Or you can find the same setting in here, click, and choose Options from the flyout menu. In the Options dialog box, we do have a lot of settings as you can see it in here, but what I need now is the User Preference tab, and click on Right Click Customization. And change the default setting as you can see it here. I will show you how this works after. Then hit Apply and close the exit from the Right Click Customization dialog box, and Apply and OK out of the Option dialog box. This will take you some time to get used to, but once you adapt it to your workflow, it will save you a whole lot of time. And now let's create a new layer from the Layers panel and click on Layer Properties. And this will launch a Layer Properties Manager dialog box. And from here, click a new layer icon and give it a descriptive name. In my case, let me name that Fiat Front, and this one Fiat Side, and this one I think Downward Arrow. That would be enough, I guess. To make this active layer, either double click on it or right click and hit Set Current. I will change its color to be something complementary with red. Let me choose this green color to make the color of the line more visible against the background color, which is red. Now let's use line to trace. From the draw panel, choose line and start tracing. It is a good thing to have some idea about typography when dealing with letters. To create a vertical or horizontal line, turn Ortho on by going in here. Ortho of course will lock my movement only to horizontal or vertical motion. And while I'm in here, let me go to Snap setting by clicking in here and simply check everything. As I stated in the intro video, I'm assuming you are familiar with AutoCAD, that's why I'm using shortcuts now. and it's pretty easy and effective way to use shortcuts in AutoCAD. Select these two lines and copy them down here. While I'm in copy command, let me copy this line and repeat it along the left edge of the letters. Go back to the offset again and accept the already existing number as an offset distance and offset the lines to the right side. To close the lines along this side, you can use chamfer and click the two lines you need to bring together. Then to clean the lines, use trim and select the lines that you need to involve in the trimming command. Right click to enter and select the lines that you need to remove. Now instead of creating two new lines to create this part, let me use extend command and extend these two lines up to this point. You can find the extend command in the modify panel. One thing to remember, if you are extending the lines to the right, click on the right side of the lines and vice versa. After that, you can use again trim to clean the drawing. And if you can't trim the lines like these two lines, simply select and hit delete. Since this part is repeated in the letter T, I can simply reuse them. And from here I can mirror this part again to finish the word T. Create a line in here to use it as a center line of the mirror. Select the lines that you need to mirror and hit mirror and use this center line. AutoCAD will ask you if you want to erase the source object. This is usually helpful, but in this case, click no. Again, go back to cleaning. To create that part, first you need to remove the constraint. Click on Ortho. This will remove the cursor from only moving orthogonally. Adjust as you seem fit in this case. Finally, to finish this, let's use fillet to make it appear more realistic and avoid hard corners in the walls. Go to Modify panel and select fillet. It's found together with the chamfer and blend curves, and give it a smaller radius and click the two lines that makes the corner. This will make the lines appear more organic. Two things you need to know when drafting in AutoCAD. One, always do it the short way, to keep it simple of course, because there are a million ways you can approach your task. And second, don't repeat things that's already in your drawing. Use copy if you can. These are the remaining letters in the building. Even I trace the downward arrow, and for the purpose of exporting to Revit, I will put the letters in different files and save them. These are all generated from the official documents traced in here. I brought my traced letters for scaling to compare it with the actual letter in the building. The actual letter in the building is 3.5 meter in height, and now I can scale the letter that I just finished to be 3.5 meter in height, of course. To do that, go to Scale command and select the object you want to scale. Right click to finish the first command. Now AutoCAD gives you an option to scale it. In my case, since I know the height, I will use the reference by hitting R and enter. Now I want the distance between this point, click on it, and this, click again in this point, and enter 3.5 meter and hit enter to finish your command again. Now let's give it a name. Go to Annotate panel and hit text. I will call this one Fiat side. Let's change the letters to caps lock. Select the word, and from the formatting panel, from the text editor tab, hit this drop down icon and choose uppercase. So, what we learned from this video? We learned how to import images in AutoCAD, how to make ready any image to tracing in AutoCAD, and how to trace it. Next, I will begin my lesson in Revit and start building our project. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, and if you run into any difficulty, let me know please. I am ready to answer any of your questions.